Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about Across the Spider-Verse, the new Spider-Man animated film that follows Into the Spider-Verse, which was very good. I remember watching this movie when it came out and having a great time with it. It shot up straight to number one as the film that I thought was the best Spider-Man film. In my Spider-Man ranking, it went straight to the top. I think it's number two now because I think Spider-Man 2 might just have it. But yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. Fun new characters, fun variations on characters. Spider-Gwen, Peter Parker. The lady Dr. Octopus was very good as well. Yeah, cool characters, cool art style, very, vibrant, very new, very fresh. And then you had all this this whole story with the Kingpin. It was great. It was really good fun. And I think we kind of got lucky at one point with Spider-Man movies. The kind of Homecoming, Spider-Verse, and I would throw in Far From Home in there as well. I'm going to be generous. I'm going to throw Far From Home in there as well because I did like that movie. That was, I think, a good Spider-Man era. But I think with No Way Home and, regrettably, this movie, I think that era is slowly kind of run out of steam, I'm afraid. Especially because you got all the weird stuff, coming out at the same time, like the Venom movies and Kraven the Hunter, which if you've seen the trailer recently, does not look good. But this movie has done really well. It cost $100 million to make, which is a lot, but it's made $600 million, over $600 million already. And it stayed at number one despite, other contenders showing up like Pixar. This movie defeated Pixar. Think about that. This is just like, this movie kind of came out of nowhere, like Into the Spider-Verse. And this is a sequel to that movie. And it beat Pixar easily. Less said about Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken, the better. Really, DreamWorks. That's okay. Anyway, we'll get to that one if I ever see it. But no, this movie's done great. This movie's done really well, and they're definitely banking on the sequel, and they leave it open at the end of this one for a sequel. This is actually kind of a long movie. It's over 2 hours long, which this movie was long, and it felt long. And I don't know why it needed to be this long. Like, that just seems odd. I mean, for animated films, usually, I kind of like when they're short and sweet, Just wow me for a while, and then just cut it off. I mean, there's exceptions to that. I don't mind if certain films that are, like, a little bit more epic can take a bit more time to tell their story, but this movie just did not have that much story, and it was just kind of like, it was tough sitting through it. And honestly, I didn't really like this movie. And I know this is a very popular movie, especially for younger viewers who really love this movie. I didn't care for it. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to give you my reasons why. I hope you don't get mad. But I'll start with the positives. I thought the opening scene with Spider-Gwen, which is a very long opening scene. It's like, I feel like it was like 15 minutes long or something. Was well done. That scene was, there's some scenes in this movie that are just really well done. That scene was well done. It kind of gets you hyped for the movie. Like, it's a huge build up to the start of the movie, but I kind of like that idea. There's a scene with Vulture, where the characters are fighting Vulture, and the art style on Vulture is interesting. It's like it's like drawings on the sketch pad, but like an old sketch pad. It's like Leonardo da Vinci or something, kind of style. It's got a steampunky vibe to it. I like that. I thought that was really cool fight. I like the idea of there being kind of a world of Spider-Man, basically. There's problems with that world as well, and all the Spider-Man are going after this one Spider-Man. I like the idea as well, and there's a couple other, action scenes that were well done in the movie. The art style, it's, if you're looking for more of what you got in Into the Spider-Verse, you got more of it, like a lot more of it. So it holds up. It's just, for me personally, it really did not impress me as much watching this movie. Like, this sequel kind of like made me realize I was kind of over it, like this style of it. It's basically just, after a while, you just see through it. you just see through all the colorful scribbles, and then you look at the animation itself, and it's just Pixar again. It is nothing. The character designs, all that stuff. Like, I felt like the character design was bolder in the first film. Like, just the design of freaking Kingpin, freaking hilarious. The guy is a house. But yeah, I mean, even then, like the characters were designed the same way, like Miles Morales, Peter Parker. I just got a little bit tired of that style already, which does not bode well. I'm sure there's a way to do it that basically, if they're gonna do this style, they have to make you completely forget through the animation that you're watching CG animation. And the only way to do that, maybe, is either through AI or a combination of AI and hand-drawn animation. And I'm welcoming. I know it's gonna happen. Mark my words, it's gonna happen. To the animation, it's gonna come back because people are gonna realize, why are we scribbling over CG animation? Like, it doesn't make any sense. There's the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie as well. It's in a similar style, and it looks fine. Like, it looks fine. It looks good, sort of. But when you look past the scribbles, you're kind of like, you've got yourself a very mid CG animated film. It doesn't, like, the animation on the mouth movements, everything is not that great. And it's, I think it's the Lego movie kind of started this whole thing of, like, well, that was slightly different, but that was kind of like pretend stop motion. These new movies are kind of like, including the Mitchells, whatever it was called, versus the Machines or whatever. That movie was also kind of pretend, kind of stop motion kind of thing. So it's interesting. I like it sometimes, this style, but at the end of the day, what you really want is a really good 2D animated film or a really good stop motion animated film. Like, it's hard to beat these two styles. CG animation just is trying very hard to mimic both, and it kind of it didn't impress me that much watching this movie, because I really watched straight through those scribbles. But it's well done. I mean, I can't say it's badly done. Like, it's done as well as it was in the first film. That's not even, like, discount that, because this is not really, like, my big problem with this movie. This is just kind of a personal preference thing. I didn't really care for the look of this movie as much as I did the first time I saw this style being done. My problems with this movie, the big problems, are very simple. Pacing, story. That's it. Throwing characters in there as well, but pacing and story. Because this movie has... it starts off quite well, actually. They introduce you slowly to this villain, Spider-Man villain called the Spot. And I love that this was a new villain with an interesting design, interesting personality. The character is voiced by Jason Schwartzman, who is, an actor I love. Like, if Jason Schwartzman's in it, I'll probably find a way to watch it. Freaking nails this role, by the way. And the character design is really good, and the way his story progresses is really good, except after a while, he's not really in the movie, at all. Like, they're kind of building up to a big confrontation. But, the beginning part where we were with this character, and it was kind of a darker, more... I don't know how to put it. He's very kind of neurotic as a Spider-Man villain, and it was refreshing. The Spot has a different vibe than other kind of Spider-Man villains that are mad scientists, a lot of them. He's a little bit more neurotic. He's a little bit more out there. He's got some interesting reasons to hate Spider-Man. You don't really know the full story. And you want to know more. So that was a good character. Unfortunately, the rest of the movie, you don't really see him at all. And then you spend time with Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, and other characters. The new characters, didn't gel with me very much. And honestly, this movie kind of tainted the old characters for me. By the end of this movie, I was kind of done with this franchise, honestly. Like, I didn't really like the main characters anymore. Miles Morales, I got bored of him, just full stop. I found him really boring in this movie. Spider-Gwen, same. I just Spider-Gwen in the first film was like a nice little addition. It's like, oh, interesting, what they've done with Gwen Stacy there. That's interesting. But now it's just like, it's all about Spider-Gwen. And they're really building up to this kind of spin-off, which I'm not interested in seeing. Because Spider-Gwen as a character is just not particularly likable. I don't know how else to say it. And we spend way too much, the worst character by far in this movie, before I get to that character. Peter Parker is also not good in this film. Like, he's got a little kid, and he's kind of a jerk, and he doesn't really need to be in this film. There's characters in this movie that you kind of don't want to be there, and there's characters that are not in this movie that you kind of want to be there. You kind of want Spider-Noir to be there. I wanted to see the freaking mech suit anime character again. They were badass. Or like that pig guy. I'm down for Spider Pig or whatever his name was. But no, instead we get Spider-Woman, who doesn't look anything like Spider-Woman. She looks like Misty Knight. And I don't know if she's meant to be Misty Knight. I guess. Maybe it could be. A pregnant lady who is on a motorbike, who is Spider-Woman, I guess. And she's not funny. She's not particularly interesting. They don't redo anything with that character. Why is that character there? I don't know. I think she's meant to be Jessica Drew, though. She's not even meant to be Misty Knight. But the style of the character is very Misty Knight. Who else do we have? We had Hobie, Spider-Punk, which is like, I see what they did there. It kind of lends itself to the kind of scribble art style. They tried something with that character. I just didn't care about that guy at all. Like, people really like that character, but I'm just like, I guess, like a Spider-Man punk. All right. I don't know. I just wasn't impressed. I'm like, have someone cool. Have like freaking Wolverine as Spider-Man. Like, there's so much. You've got the whole Marvel universe, or at least what you have the rights to as Sony. But it's just like, just give me something. Spider-Punk, it's like punks exist now. You know what I mean? Like, I guess one with the spider powers. Okay, so Spider-Man, basically, right? Like, there's what's so special about that? They just wanted to scribble different kinds of things that are kind of punky, but I don't know. I feel like they could have fleshed out that character a little bit. At one point, there's like this Spider-Verse where it's just like, it's New York, but India. Oh, it's Spider-Man, but he's Indian. I'm like, well, that's not that crazy, is it? Like, I just assumed there probably is a Spider-Man in another country somewhere. Like, but I guess it's New York. I was just like, so? I don't know. I was really not... I didn't think those were good ideas for these characters. Like, I thought it was really boring. They're just people. They're just spider people. All right, cool. Like, I don't know. It just fell flat for me. I would have used Ben Reilly more. I would have used Scarlet Spider a lot more, and just because we don't know much about this character. Like, there's a reference to Ben Reilly, and it's played as a joke, assuming a mainstream audience is gonna know what the hell's going on. It's like, no, this was the main Spider-Man at one point. You know what I mean? Like, we could have done more with that character. The pacing of this movie is horrible. I don't know what they were thinking with the pacing for this film. It's horribly paced. You've got very high-octane action scenes sometimes, and then it's just freaking dead in the water all of a sudden. And like, you'll get a kick-ass action scene. Next thing you know, you're like, you're with Miles Morales' mother for like 10 minutes, and she's just talking. I'm like, what am I watching? Like, this movie is ridiculous in how much screen time Miles Morales' mother gets. She's my least favorite character of this movie because she gets at least 3 big scenes where she's just talking a lot. And I don't understand what they were thinking with that. Like, she's horrible, this character. She's not funny. She's not cool. She's not interesting. She's just a person saying things, like, condescendingly. I'm like, go away. Like, I want to go back to the Spider-Verse now. She is horrible character. Like, really, I don't know. I don't even remember her from the first film. And that's good. That's good because it means they didn't overstay that character's welcome. Okay, because they're clearly building up to killing her or whatever. But still, like, it's just like, make us like her. Not this garbage where she's just whining at Miles Morales every 2 seconds. It makes sense because this movie is not really made by the same people who made the first film. Like, in terms of the animation department, I'm sure it is, but like the writers are different. Phil Lord is still involved, but still the writers are different. The directors are different. This is, I don't know why they had to change so much about the making of this film, considering the first film was so successful. But yeah, I thought the pacing was horrible. I thought the writing was not good enough. It just wasn't good enough, especially when it comes to the comedy. I just realized I have some dust here. What did I do? The comedy is abysmal in this film. Like, every time the film tries to be funny, it's like a 5-year-old wrote it. I'm not joking. It's shocking how unfunny this movie is. I felt legitimately awkward sometimes. When people were laughing in the theater, I was just like, I felt like I was in Arkham Asylum. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, how could you be laughing at this? There was some people in the theater who seemed to be like, they were like gasping when something would happen. I'm like, who cares? Like, the story is not engaging. Once you get to the Spider-Verse with all the Spider-Man, you're kind of into it. But after that, after the big kind of Spider-Verse fight or whatever, who cares about anything? Like, I just found it so uninteresting to follow this story, and it felt way too long. There's way too much starting and stopping. The jokes are painful. The Spider-Gwen sequence that I enjoyed when I saw it, looking back, I wish it had been like way shorter because the film is too long and paced horribly. So I would have taken less of that if I had known it was going to be a problem later. That by the last 15 minutes, I would want, my over 2 hours back in my life. So, yeah, I think what happened was they tried, they took themselves way too seriously with this movie. I think that's what happened. They tried to have a very deep emotional story with all, and really focus on Spider-Gwen and all these other characters, but they didn't really flesh out anyone in a way that's interesting, and they didn't even like think about the kind of roller coaster ride vibe of the first film. Because going back to the Spider-Gwen opening sequence, looking back, sure, it's way too long, but in the moment, it was relentless. You're kind of into it. Even though I'm not a big Spider-Gwen fan, at least it's just constant, pretty things to look at, nice music, action's very good. You don't have time to really criticize it. You don't have time to really think about it. You're just kind of like, okay, cool. And I think that's why the first movie worked so well, because there just wasn't, and what there was in terms of story, in terms of characters bonding, etc., like Miles Morales and his uncle, or with Peter Parker, what there was of story had substance. And those characters felt right. They felt right, They felt like Spider-Man characters, and their problems, like, it was simple. They kept things simple. Here, they really tried to like complicate everything as much as possible to the point where you just kind of give up halfway through the movie. I don't know what this movie's about. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what the hell this movie's about. I saw it. Stuff happened in it. Stuff I understood, stuff I just didn't give a shit about. Like, really. And the biggest insult is the film ends on not even just a cliffhanger. It ends on a to be continued without any actual resolution to anything that happened. And that was just super insulting, especially after over 2 hours. You gotta deliver something, bro. Like, one character, Spider-Gwen needs to die or something. Something big needs to happen, and it didn't. And it was just like really anticlimactic. I was bored watching this movie, and it's sad. It's sad because I enjoyed the first film, and actually this movie has kind of brought down the first film for me a little bit, because now I feel like maybe I misjudged the first film. Maybe I need to watch it again. Maybe it's not as good as I thought it was. So yeah, I'm not gonna watch Beyond the Spider Verse, guys. I'm good. Maybe on the small screen at some point. Maybe. I'm not going to a theater to watch it. And the spin-off film, they're gonna do Spider Woman, but I don't know if it's with this Spider Woman, because I'm out as well, because she was not fun at all. She was really boring. This movie just tried way too hard, and it didn't need to, because what it did the first time was right on the money. You know what I mean? And here it's just like, no, no, no. We have to try really hard. We have to try really hard. It's like you're trying too hard, and it comes off as desperate, and it comes off as very uncool. Which is the first film had style, had rhythm, and it had the je ne sais quoi about it. This movie just fell flat for me. So I wouldn't recommend this film. I'd give it a pretty low rating. I'm gonna be honest with you. In terms of animated films out this year, it's very low on my list. I preferred, I think the one I saw before that was Suzume, which was much better than this. So yeah, I was very disappointed by this movie, considering I liked the first film a lot. It's definitely one of my least favorite Spider-Man films of all time. Yeah, hope you guys not too pissed off with that, because I know a lot of people love this movie. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments about the film, and yeah, I'd be particularly interested to know if anyone else feels the same way that I do, because I heard this movie get so much praise, and then I go see it. I'm like, what is this? It's the same kind of feeling that I got when I went to see Evil Dead Rise, where everybody on Twitter was raving about this film. I go see it. It's garbage. Evil Dead Rise was hot garbage. So yeah, rough one. This one, I was very disappointed. I couldn't believe it was um, as not very good as it was. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next movie review.